Hello you lovely people of the internet, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to my channel. Or if this is your first time here, then welcome. Oh my gosh, this light, this one little light always twitches. Oh my god, that gave me the fright of my life. Let's put my little Salvador Dali clock back where she belongs. If this is your first time here, then welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Actually, I just hope you're all having a wonderful day. I feel like I haven't sat down and filled you guys in on my life in a little while. I know my previous video was an update video, but I filmed that back in 2018, you know, so last year. It's pretty crazy though that we're in 2019 already. I do not know where time goes. I feel like since I turned 21, the years have just gone quicker and quicker and quicker, and I'm like, how fast is life gonna go when I'm like 50, if I'm still alive? I assume in the blink of an eye. Today I thought I would sit down and catch you guys up on a few things that have been happening in my life. I have all these ideas for new videos, and I just feel like for my own peace of mind, I need to like update you guys on what's been going on before I can. This light is freaking me out. And I know I've been really MIA on my channel in the last year, 2 years, like just in the last while. I know the last video was an update, but this is like a continuation of that and to close the book on what's been going on in my life. So I feel like I can properly move on with new videos this year and fresh content. I just feel like I need to get some things off my chest and fill you guys in. I feel like there was a time where I was uploading every week really consistently, and obviously that's not the case on my channel now. For those of you who are still here, I really appreciate you. I'm so thankful if you stuck around. That means you have some sort of faith in me, and there were moments when I didn't have faith in myself because, well, I'll get into it, but thank you if you're still here, and if you're new, then welcome. I am so excited to continue this new chapter in this new year. There is a lot to get through, like, I'm not gonna lie. I have a lot to say. So grab a snack, grab a drink, grab something to keep you comfortable. Funnily enough, one of my YouTube goals this year is to make shorter, more concise content, but for the sake of this video, this is gonna be an update. So there's lots of things to get through. So my YouTube goal starts next video, not this one. There's part of me that also feels like I've let you guys down because I'm not uploading consistently, but there has been like a lot of things going on, and I'm not just being that typical YouTuber that makes that excuse being like, I've been so busy, like blah blah blah. It's more like mental stuff that's been going on, and I'm gonna talk about it in this video because let's keep it real, let's talk openly, let's have a chat. I think we're at that stage in our relationship where we can talk really openly and communicate and have good dialogue and all that good stuff. But yeah, there was part of me that felt like I'd let you guys down, and I feel like feeling connected to you guys is so important to me, and part of me feels like I've lost that because I haven't been uploading consistently. I've lost that like connection and interaction, and this is in no way blaming anyone except for myself. I feel like because I haven't been uploading consistently and putting effort and time and energy into my YouTube channel, I haven't been getting that connection with you guys that was one of the things that I loved most about YouTube in the first place. And I want to get that back because I miss you guys and I miss that constant interaction, and I feel like that's going to take time for me to like build up again. I miss that. I miss you guys. But before I get into what's been going on, I just wanted to make a little quick announcement. If you live in Sydney, continue listening to this announcement. If you don't live in Sydney, then this probably won't relate to you unless you're going to be in Sydney for Mardi Gras, which is coming up on the 2nd of March. So if you're not, and that doesn't apply to you, then I'll put somewhere on the screen now where you can skip to get to the juicy goss of what's been going on in my life. It's not that juicy, but like to get to that. So skip there if you want. Otherwise, if you live in Sydney or you're going to be in Sydney around Mardi Gras, then listen up. So for the last year or so, I've been going to this amazing event called Empire in Sydney. If you are LGBTQ+, any on the spectrum, we're all on the spectrum, and you've been looking for like a really good, welcoming, accepting environment to party in, then I would say get the hell down to Empire if you're living in Sydney, because it is amazing. They're having a huge Mardi Gras party, and it's an all-female DJ lineup. They play hip-hop and trap, which are like my two favorite genres, so that's a good enough reason to go in itself. If you want to party somewhere that's super accepting and just has really good vibes, then come join me at Empire. It's going to be an amazing night. I'm so excited. I will leave the event details and information down below. It's always a good time. It gets wild, and everyone's just cool. You can also give Empire a like and find out when they have new events. They have them every single month, so if you're ever in Sydney and you want to go to a all-gals queer sort of fun time, good time, party good times, great classic hits, then Empire is where it's at. And if you're in Sydney over Mardi Gras, then come party with me, because it's literally queer Christmas and it's always a good time. Might see some of you there, might not, maybe you're not in Sydney, but if you ever are, then Empire is where it's at, girl. What you doing? Also, I just wanted to say that Empire have a no girls left behind policy, which is one of the things that makes it so great. If you don't know anyone in the LGBT scene, or you don't have many queer friends, they actually have a system where they connect you with other people who are also in the same situation or who live nearby, and you guys can go together, or they'll introduce you to people when you get there. What I love about it is that it's so supportive and it's such a wonderful environment. It is so refreshing to go to a club and not have sleazy guys grab my ass and grind on me and have girls do it instead. But seriously, it's so nice to go to a club. I've actually never felt so like safe. I feel like the shit girls have to deal with a lot of drunken straight guys, mainly. And I'm not gender typing guys, but when you go to clubs, you come across those sort of guys that are really persistent and creepy. There's no restrictions. It's just a really open environment where you can dress the way you want to, you can feel comfortable and confident in who you are and who you love, and just have a really great time. And that's what I love about it. That's about it. That's all I wanted to say about that. Let's get into the video and explain where I've been. Let's go to Empire right now. Bye. See you there, bye! Also, I went to the Red Hot Chili Peppers concert last night and it was amazing. I have footage from it, but I'm not going to put it in this video because this video is going to be long enough. So, let's begin. So as I mentioned in the last update, I have finished my degree. I finished it September last year, 2018. Just in case you didn't see the last video, long story short, I came to the end of my degree and I wasn't so sure that psychology was for me. That rhymes. I just had a lot of questions about my career, and of course I want to help people, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to necessarily do it in that particular way. There was also a creative part of me that wasn't being stimulated, and I decided to give myself 2019 off to explore my passions, my loves, have a me year and just explore what makes me happy and figure out what that is. There are so many things I'm interested in, but I haven't had time to pursue them. This is my year for doing that. But having this question mark about my career really created so much anxiety in me because I've always been that person that's known what they want to do, career-wise at least. But I guess you can never be sure because you change with experience and with time, and I was at uni for 4.5 years. I changed a lot during the process and I discovered new things about myself, and so I guess you can never be so 100% sure of like, yep, this is definitely the career for me. I mean, some people are and they follow through with that. A lot of times that changes and that's okay, and that's something that I've learned. So if you're questioning your purpose and your career path and all that sort of stuff, it's okay, you'll figure it out. Also, weirdly enough, I only realized this like later on after I graduated. I didn't realize the structure that university provided. So I would go to my classes, I'd come home, I'd study 6-7 hours a day. I had like a routine and a structure, and I guess this lack of structure from not being at uni just threw me for a loop. I had all this time and I didn't know what to put my time and energy into. Just like overly stimulated. Not in a sexual way. So that lack of structure really overwhelmed me, and it has been overwhelming me, and I'm still figuring it out. And then finally the question of where do I go from here? Like, what do I want out of life? What is my purpose? Like all these big questions, and now that I've come through the degree, I'm starting to ask myself these questions. So that's all the career stuff. I know I touched on that in the last video, but that's everything I wanted to say about that. Let's move on to Central America, which you guys don't even know about. So let's move on to that. So after a little while of dealing with the whole feeling directionless and having all these question marks about my career, I decided to treat myself. So I decided to book my dream trip to Central America, which I know travel helps me gain clarity, and I really felt that that's what I needed in that moment. So I booked a trip to Central America, and I find travel increases your confidence and you learn new things about yourself, and I felt like in my heart that that was exactly what I needed. So I booked it. Basically, long story short, I'd been suffering from abdominal pains and nausea and like random symptoms like that, and there was just something not right with my stomach at the time. But I booked my trip and I was going to be doing 2 back-to-back tours and then volunteer work in the jungle and then another tour and then coming home. So it was a pretty full-on back-to-back itinerary, which I was really excited for because there were so many bucket list things on this trip for me. Like just seeing waterfalls, number one, and swimming in a cenote or cenote. I don't know how to say it, but it's in Mexico. You swim in these lovely cave things, and that's like bucket list thing for me. And I was going to be spending an extensive amount of time in the jungle volunteering at an animal sanctuary with like all sorts of wild Costa Rican animals, which would have been absolutely amazing because, as you guys know, or you may not know, I'm a huge animal lover. I love animals, full stop, period. That is all. And because I didn't know what was causing these problems, it's probably not the best idea to go spend extensive amounts of time in the jungle and in countries where there's a lot of new germs and new foods and places where you can't really drink the water and new viruses and just basically a back-to-back itinerary. And because I was going to be working at a sanctuary, I couldn't really afford to be sick or unwell. Like I had a role to play in that sanctuary for the time that I was there, and I needed to help out where I could. And I just felt that my immune system was not strong enough to handle that at the time. Well, that's the conclusion I eventually came to. So the night before my flight, I slept pretty badly. Then I got to the airport, I'd already checked in online, and I checked my bag through, and then I started feeling really sick and I started vomiting. And then that induced like a panic in me, and I started panicking because I could see obviously time is running out and my gate was going to be opening soon, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, do I go? Do I not go? Like I feel like shit. I feel like so violently ill, and I didn't know what was causing it. Is it the lack of sleep? And my family were all telling me different things. Like I was trying to ask them for advice, and some of them were like, push yourself, like you'll be fine once you get on the plane, like have a nap, have a sleep, and then you'll be fine. And they were kind of trying to encourage me to go, but my body was telling me not to go. I could see time was ticking and my gate was going to be opening soon, and I had to make a decision because I hadn't even gone through security. This trip consumed me. It took weeks and weeks of preparation to be organized and have everything, you know, finalized for the trip. Also, I'm really bad at making decisions. So at the time, I felt really torn between my physical health and my mental health. And my body was like, go home. And my mental health was like, go on the trip, go have an amazing time. I decided I wasn't well enough to make my flight, so I managed to get my bag back and I went home. On the way home, I saw an email from the Kentucky tour manager for the tour I was meant to be on, and he was so enthusiastic, and he was basically explaining what the trip had in store and all these amazing things we were gonna do. And it made me feel so upset and like I should have pushed myself, and I cried the whole way home because I felt like I'd made the wrong decision in that moment because I was weak and I should have pushed myself, and I had all this like negative self-talk in that moment. And so I got home and I explained to my travel agent what had happened, and I booked a flight for the next day because I was like, I'm not missing out on this. It was lack of sleep. I'm gonna get a good sleep tonight. I'm all packed, and then tomorrow I'm gonna get the flight and not miss my tour. So I rebooked everything. That night I started, I was struggling to eat, and then I started feeling progressively worse. I started vomiting, and I was vomiting all throughout the night for like several hours, and it was absolutely horrible. I had a fever, I was sweating. It was not a good time. And in that moment, because I felt so ill, I realized that I had made the right decision that day, and I needed to feel like that to make me realize that, okay, you were not meant to fly today. Because I realized when I started vomiting, I looked at the time and I would have still had like 6 hours on my first flight. It was a 24-hour travel day, and my body was just not ready for that at all. So despite feeling so sick and being kept up by vomiting, I knew that I had to try get some sleep because I had a flight to catch the next day, and I was like trying not to put pressure on myself to make a decision in that moment, even though I was like, I don't want to go because I feel so sick. Like I just want to be in my bed, like in my home. But I was like, no, Amy, you're going to decide and see how you feel in the morning, see how you go. I thought maybe I would wake up feeling better, and I didn't. So I had to make the decision yet again to cancel the flight again for a second time. Like I felt really upset to have to do that. At this point though, I was really determined not to miss my whole trip. I planned like a 2.5 month trip, so I was like, even if I miss the first tour, I've still got like a solid 6-week holiday. I need this for my mental health. This is what I feel like I need to do right now. So Amy stupidly rebooked her flight for 2 weeks later, thinking that, okay, yep, missing the first tour, but in 2 weeks I will figure out what's wrong with me. At this point I thought it was a virus. I was like, okay, it's gonna pass in 2 weeks, I'm gonna be fine, and then I'm still gonna go on my trip. It's all good. Basically for those 2 weeks my symptoms were really on and off. I would have abdominal pains and nausea sometimes after certain foods, and then some days I'd be fine and other days I'd feel really sick. And to be honest, I probably should have just listened to my body and cancelled the flight earlier instead of leaving it closer to the 2 weeks when I was meant to leave. I had no idea what was wrong with me. I didn't know if it was a food intolerance or if I'd had a food intolerance and my stomach was really inflamed, or I didn't know if I had like a viral thing or a parasite. Like I had no idea what was going on. And I didn't know whether like it was just like a food thing or if it was something more serious. So then I started like worrying about my physical health and my body and what was happening because I had no idea what was going on inside my body. Because you can't see, unfortunately. I wish you could, but you can't. So I thought long and hard about my decision, and I realized that my physical health had to come first. So I didn't know like what to avoid, what to not avoid, what to take if I feel like I didn't know I had no idea how to deal with the situation. I would hate to be in the middle of the jungle feeling really sick and being really sick and not knowing what's wrong with me and having to get like airlifted to some hospital miles away. I don't know. I knew that I had to take my health seriously, and I decided not to go on the trip. So I didn't end up going on my trip, and after this triggered like a really negative, bad headspace. I felt completely lost because I wasn't meant to be here in Australia. I was meant to be living the dream, having this amazing trip in Central America. I'd taken all this time off work, so I wasn't really in my normal routine. I was just in this really weird headspace, and I started getting really depressed, which was quite surprising to me because I haven't really felt those really heavy, strong effects of depression since I missed like a quarter of my final year of high school. And I was feeling shit for like a month. I was just really struggling to kind of pick myself up. And now I can trace all this like rut in the last little while that I've been in. I can kind of trace it back to this. Not going on this trip like triggered so much in me, and my confidence dropped dramatically, and I started to doubt myself, and I felt like I should have pushed myself, especially because I was feeling so depressed. I was like, it probably would have been better for me to just push myself physically than how I'm feeling right now. Like this feels worse than if I'd gone and physically pushed myself and been sick in the jungle. And then I was also worried about the physical. I was worried about my physical health. My anxiety had come back, my depression had come back. I had no idea what direction I wanted to go in career-wise. And on top of that, my family are moving to Hong Kong, and so our family are going to be split up and I need to decide whether I want to go with them or stay here. But that's a whole nother video in itself, and that's not happening yet, so I feel like that can wait. That's also something that's been going on. So I'm like, where am I gonna live? What job am I gonna do? I'm not meant to be here. What's going on? I'm not at work, I'm not in my normal routine, I'm just feel lost. Basically, there was a lot of question marks around my life. And speaking as someone with anxiety, we don't tend to like uncertainty. It's kind of scary. And on top of that, I was now in debt from not going on my trip. Thank God for travel insurance. I'm still in the process of trying to claim money back, and I'm not going to say how much, but all I will say is that it's over $10,000. So the financial stress of it as well has not helped. Weirdly enough, the money has not been what's gotten to me the most. It's the emotional side. The money has kind of been a back thought, weirdly enough, even though it's a lot of money, and I am upset by it and trying to get my money back because I can't help the situation. I don't know what's going on with my body, and I'm trying to figure that out. I've recently gone and seen a specialist, and we're in the process of trying to get to the bottom of it. Don't know if it's passed or not. My symptoms have gotten better, but yeah, still not sure. And they're not working for a few months because I took the time off work to go on this trip. Obviously, I wasn't earning an income, so everything I was spending was coming from my savings, and I was already over 10 grand out of my savings. In every situation, domain of my life, like financial, emotional, it was just not going very well at that point in time. Hopefully I'll get most of my money back. I'm still in the process of doing that and getting all the documentation and stuff. It's a whole process, so hopefully this doesn't happen to you because it's a slight nuisance. But cross fingers, it all works out and I get money back and it's all good and we can move on. So that's the whole trip situation. I know I took a little while talking about that, but I feel like that's a huge thing that has kind of impacted me still now. Like, I still feel like I'm recovering from this like rut that I've been in. And I feel like a lot of it comes from this. So I just wanted to talk about it today. Get it all off my chest. It's just a complicated, lengthy situation, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to summarize it in like 1 or 2 minutes, so I hope you're still here. If you're still here, that's great. We're going to move on to other stuff now. So let's move on to more relationship-y stuff. So relationships. In the last update video that I just posted, I mentioned a relationship where I completely like lost my sense of self, and I thought the person I was dating was actually really different to how they turned out. I don't know, I didn't really see their true colors until later, you know, a little while into the relationship, and maybe I rushed into it way too quickly. Actually, yes, I did. I can admit that. But I learned not to rush into things. Sometimes you don't really know someone. You need to really get to know them in multiple different ways before you kind of commit to being with them. I'm not going to say too much, but there were some kind of abusive qualities to that relationship. I was never hurt physically or anything in the relationship, but there was some like emotionally abusive, like manipulative kind of ways about the person I dated, and I'm not going to get into it, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But that really also took a massive toll on me. I've recovered from that now. I've gained my sense of self back. I'm still in the process, obviously, of bettering myself, but I felt that that really also affected me. That's all about that relationship. Let's move on to another. Okay, let's get to Sam. So for those of you who are new to my channel and you weren't here when I was in a relationship with someone called Sarah, then you probably won't know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you will, but like, anyway, I don't know how Sam will feel about me explaining this how I do. I feel like there's no other way to explain it without using his first name, and I'm doing this in the most respectful ways possible. I know how much Sam's identity means to him and his transition, and so for me to explain the situation, I have to use his previous name to kind of just explain it. But please know, and if Sam, you're watching this, this is in no disrespect to you at all. For those of you who don't know, I was in a relationship with a girl called Sarah. She was my first serious girlfriend, and I fell madly in love. We filmed a lot of videos together. She was a huge part of my life, and towards the end of our relationship there were certain struggles with identity issues, gender identity issues, and Sarah has now transitioned to Sam, and honestly it makes me so happy to see how happy Sam is in his true form and his true self. And from when in our relationship, obviously I saw the struggles that he had with his gender identity. Obviously when you love someone, that's upsetting for you as well to see someone unhappy in their body. And I have nothing but good words to say about Sam. So this is in no disrespect. I'm literally just going to tell you exactly how I've been feeling and speak my part. I can't speak for Sam. If you don't follow any of us on our social medias, then you probably don't know that Sam has transitioned. I'm so excited to watch him on his journey, and he just is so much happier as a person. And we work together. He's my boss. It's interesting when your ex is your boss, but I'm really happy for him. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Not going to go into too much detail, but basically we broke up, and I never really fully got over Sam, to be honest. I was still in love with Sam for 2 years after we broke up, and it was really hard for me. It really was a difficult time, and in no way am I blaming Sam for anything. I actually don't hold anything against Sam and love him as a person. I was in a weird headspace because even though I had relationships since Sam, I felt like I couldn't fully give myself emotionally to anyone because I was still not 100% over him myself. So basically there was a part of me that still loved Sam, and I was in these other relationships. It wasn't like I wasn't into the people I was dating. There was just part of me that I couldn't give to them. So it was really frustrating sitting with these feelings, because I'm someone that I'm a big communicator. Like, if I'm feeling something, I need to communicate that and get it off my chest and resolve that for my own sake, and usually for the other person's sake as well. I felt that I couldn't communicate with Sam how I was feeling because he was dating other people, and I wasn't going to be that person that would overcomplicate someone else's relationship. So I almost pretended that my feelings didn't exist, and we would hang out, and it would, you know, it would be hard when I had to see him kissing other people and, you know, doing that. But it wasn't my place. He had no idea, so he wasn't in the wrong. He wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't over him, and I hadn't communicated that to him. And one of the people that he was dating was someone I went to school with, like an old friend. So he basically had no idea, and I kept it to myself for like 2 years, a little bit over 2 years, and it was really, really difficult. I need to communicate my feelings, and that was the hardest part, was actually keeping it to myself and pretending that things are fine. Usually I like to be as real as possible with my emotions and authentic, and I had no idea how much holding these feelings in and not communicating them like actually was affecting me on a deeper level, and it led to a lot of sadness and anger and frustration. And that's what I mean, like if you don't resolve feelings or deal with them, or at least communicate them, you kind of, it will come out. Anger will build, frustration will build, all these emotions that don't necessarily need to be there, it'll come out in those ways. And that's what I like to try avoid. And also not knowing what to do with these feelings, I just had to sit with them like my therapist knew. Before I was meant to be going away, I wrote Sam a letter expressing how I felt and just basically getting everything off my chest that I wanted to say, because I basically couldn't bear seeing him getting with other people anymore. It just got to a point where it had almost bubbled over to the point where I was like, I can't hold this in anymore. Like, I literally need to get it out for my own sake, for my own mental health. And that's what I did. A few weeks passed and we eventually had a chat. He reached out to me and we had a really good back and forth, deep, honest chat. And communication is something Sam and I have both gotten a lot better at since we were dating, and the feelings weren't reciprocated. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest, like some could say I got rejected. They weren't reciprocated, and that, it's fine. You can't make someone love you. You know what I mean? If it's not reciprocated, I don't really want to be with someone that doesn't want to be with me anyway. Even though it's a hard pill to swallow. Not ideally what you want to hear, but I needed to hear it. Like, I needed to have that conversation. And to be honest, even writing the letter in the first place and having that off my chest and him receive that was half of the closure I needed in itself, was just communicating that. And I didn't even know that until I'd done it, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I actually don't even feel the need to really speak to him ASAP, because I feel like I actually feel a lot lighter and I feel better that I've communicated that regardless of the outcome. We had this amazing conversation and basically acknowledged the part that we played in each other's lives, and that we still both have a lot of love for each other, and that's not going to go away, and we want to build a good friendship, like a good strong foundation. And I'm really excited for that and that new chapter as well, because I feel like obviously with time I can actually let go of the feelings that I was holding on to for so long, and I feel so much better, like I can't even explain. So that's why I also needed to address this, because that has also been holding me back in a lot of ways. When we broke up as well, sharing that on my channel, that was really difficult for me, and then people unsubscribing because we broke up was really also a knock for my confidence. It sounds silly, but it all kind of accumulated to this point, and I'm really happy with where it is at now. Even though we're not together, we're friends, it's okay, because it's all been acknowledged, we've communicated it, we've talked about it, and it's fine, and we have love for each other, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day. I don't know, it was just a really beautiful conversation that we had, and I felt that in a way it's what I needed, and everything happens the way it's meant to, I guess. And if you can relate and you're not over your ex, then give yourself time, acknowledge your feelings, be honest with yourself, because our mind is very powerful. We have a lot of defense mechanisms, and we can be in denial to ourselves. Just be honest with yourself and give it time and process your emotions. I had some feelings I needed to resolve about Sam. You know, it's not nice to have feelings for your ex for 2 years. It's really not, and wouldn't recommend it. But I hope you can learn something. Maybe you can take something from that. Maybe you're not over your ex. I don't know. Are you over your ex? Ask yourself that. Are you over them? I hope so, for your sake, because it's not the funnest situation to be in. Especially when it's not reciprocated. No, I'm joking. It's fine. I love you, Sam. Whoa, okay. That is enough about relationships. I feel like I just word vomited all of that. I'm happy on my own now, and when the right person comes along, they're gonna come along. I'm just really happy with just doing my own little thing, and that's fine. I have so much stuff I want to work on in my life, and so many things I want to fill my life with and my time with. Right now, I think I need to be putting that focus inwards and not to relationships, because I've always been that person that's like, I need to be with someone, I want to be in a relationship like all the time. Also, I'm hoping to go to Central America this year, and I don't want to be tied down. I want to be free as a bird to just explore myself and the other end of the world, pretty much. Okay, I am going to wrap this video up here. If you are still here, like, who are you? Like, you're amazing. Because I don't know how interesting this stuff is. This is literally just like, if you were to ask me what's up, this is your answer. This video is the answer. If you've been wondering where I've been or what's been going on, this video is your answer. I felt like for myself as well, I needed to post this. I strongly believe that everything happens for a reason, and you usually don't get to know that reason or that lesson that you need to learn straight away, and that can be so frustrating. And I've had a lot of experience with that recently with some of the things I've been going through, but I just know that that's life trying to teach me something, you know what I mean? You just gotta ask yourself, what can I gain from this situation? How can I learn? How can I do something differently next time? And if you can do that, then nothing's ever bad or a mistake, or you know where I'm getting at with this. You just have to be patient and go with the flow of life, and that's something that I've learned from going through all of this. I feel like I really have gone through a roller coaster of emotions these last few months, little while, year, I don't know. To end this video on a positive note, I'm going to tell you about one of my realizations and lessons. I think I figured out the reason why I wasn't meant to go on the trip, and I'm not sure if this is the reason. I guess time will tell. I've been researching plant medicines a lot the last few years, and plant medicines from like the Amazon and everything. You can do your own research. I might make videos about it in the future. If you're interested in that, let me know. And I found this place in Costa Rica that's a life advancement center, and it's not too far from the sanctuary which I was going to be doing my volunteer work at, and I'm still hoping to do volunteer work there this year. And it's basically a place that does yoga, meditation. You can do plant medicine if you want to. I don't know if I feel ready right now, but it's basically, as it says, a life advancement center, and I feel really called to go. I think the reason why I wasn't meant to go last time is if I'd gone last time, I didn't know about this place. This time I'm gonna spend less time at the sanctuary and now go to this place and spend some time there. And I feel like maybe that's the reason I wasn't meant to go. Maybe I'm meant to go to this life advancement center. But yeah, I don't know, that's random, but I just thought I would throw that in there because maybe that's my reason. Or maybe something terrible was gonna happen to me over there and been really sick or injured or something, and that was why I wasn't meant to go. Who knows? Maybe we'll know eventually, maybe we won't, and I'm okay with that. It's fine. I'm gonna go on this trip eventually. If anything, it's inspired me to go on this trip and make it happen because I'm so excited to finally be able to do that. And just to end this video off, I just wanted to say, if you're going through a tough time and you're struggling in life right now, whether that be lacking direction or you're not over your ex, I don't know, it's okay. And it's in these tough times that you learn the most about yourself and you grow the most. Like, if your life is perfect, you wouldn't grow as a human being. You would stay exactly as you are. We need to grow, we need to learn, we need to evolve, and if you were perfect and everything was perfect, we would all stay the same, and that's not fun. And I guess that's not how life works. We're constantly evolving and changing, and as someone with anxiety, it's okay. Change can be scary, but it's okay, and things happen the way that they're meant to for a reason. Well, I believe that anyway. You might not, but that's what I believe in. And as cliche as it sounds, life's like an arrow. Like, sometimes you have to pull back to go forward. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta, to get where you're going, you have to go through some shit to get there, to see the light, whatever you want to call it. You just have to trust in the universe or God or whatever you believe in, and trust that everything in life happens the way it's meant to. I have no idea how long I've been here, but I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I feel like I've been sitting here for like 3 hours, and I really hope that once I edit this down, I can somehow get it so it's not too long. That is everything that's been going on in my life. If you have any questions about like anything I mentioned in this video, leave them down below and I'll be sure to answer them. And by no means in this video am I trying to be like, oh, feel sorry for me, like I'm a victim and all this stuff is happening to me. I'm not asking for sympathy, but I really wanted to explain to you guys what's been going on in my life and explain why I haven't been present on this channel or as present as I would like to be. And I hope you guys stick around for the journey and the adventure. If you're new, as you know, as you can probably tell, I like to talk. I talk a lot, probably more than I should, but I'm gonna stop talking and wrap this video up. If you want to keep up to date with my everyday life, because I tend to be more present on other social media forums than on YouTube these days, you can follow my Instagram and Twitter. Jokes, not about Twitter. I'm not very good with Twitter, but I'm okay with Instagram. You can follow me over here. Oh, it's right over there. I'm actually filming with this backdrop for the first time in a long time. Usually I'll film in front of my bed, so I'm not used to having this right here, but if you want to follow my Instagram and Twitter, it's at AmyGrace with 3 E's. You can do that if you want to. You don't have to, but if you do, then come say hi over there. And if you're new, then feel free to subscribe and join the fam. I'd love to go on this new adventure with you guys, and I hope you guys are in a good place and you're happy. Be kind to each other, because I guess you don't know what people are going through. And I'll see you guys in the next video, which will hopefully be very soon. And that is all for this video. Yeah, have a great day. Bye!